Good morning, everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain about need for modulation, definition of modulation, types of modulation, and the concept of bandwidth. These topics comes under the chapter Basics of Communication System of the subject Analog Communication System. The main objectives of this video lesson are, upon completion of this topic, you will be able to understand and analyze about need for modulation, why do we require modulation process, what are the types of modulation, concept of bandwidth. Let us give brief introduction about the concept. Low frequency signals, nothing but audio waves in case of voice. When we are speaking through microphone, our voice is audio wave. When it is converted into electrical signal, we get a low frequency signal in the electrical form, cannot be sent directly over the air for long distance communication. Especially for long distance communication, voice as it is, which is of low frequency, cannot be sent directly over the medium. The energy of the wave is directly proportional to frequency. That means our voice or a video signal is a low frequency signal. The energy of that particular signal is low and therefore cannot transmit to long distance. At audio frequencies, that means the voice signal frequencies, the signal power is very small, and when the power is very small, the radiation is not practically possible due to attenuation and interference in the channel. Hence, for long distance radiation of electrical signals, which is possible only at high frequencies, and therefore we need to process this low frequency signal to get a high frequency signal. And hence, in long distance transmission, low frequency signal is to be changed into high frequency signal. This is called modulation. That means a low frequency signal is impressed upon a high frequency signal by some means to get the modulation process. So high frequency signal is carrying the low frequency signal, and therefore there is a transmission to long distance as well as efficient radiation of the signal is possible through antenna. So we can define the modulation process, which is nothing but the process of varying some characteristics of high frequency carrier signal in accordance with the amplitude of baseband signal. So what is a baseband signal? It is the message signal. Baseband signal term is used to represent band of frequencies. Our voice is band of frequencies. Voice frequency range varies from 300 Hz to 3.4 kilohertz. So this baseband signal is also known as message signal, which is also known as information bearing signal, or which is also known as intelligence signal. That intelligence signal we are getting through the suitable transducer depending upon the type of the application, and therefore we take a high frequency carrier signal and we vary the characteristics of high frequency carrier signal in accordance, that means directly proportional with the amplitude of baseband signal. So what are the characteristics of the high frequency carrier signal? There are three parameters are the characteristics of high frequency carrier signal, namely amplitude of the carrier, frequency of the carrier, and phase of the carrier. So you can take amplitude of the carrier, vary the amplitude of the carrier in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. Or you take frequency of the carrier and vary the frequency of the carrier in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. The third way of doing modulation is take the phase of the carrier and vary the phase of the carrier in accordance with the amplitude of the baseband signal or message signal. And therefore, The modulation is defined as the process of varying some characteristics of high frequency carrier signal in accordance with the amplitude of baseband signal. Let us see the meaning of modulation. A person cannot go to long distance by walk. He can make use of bus as a carrier. See, a person, if he go by walk, he cannot reach the college or the destination within time. This person, if he make use of a carrier, he can go to long distance. For example, a student can go to a college by making use of a transport. Here, person means a signal. Signal can go to long distance by making use of a carrier. So by walk, a person cannot reach the destination within time. The destination is somewhat far away from the transmission. Similarly, low frequency signals cannot travel to long distance because low frequency signal have low energy and low power levels. To reach the destination at long distance within time, person make use of some carriers like bus, train, aeroplane, etc. because those carriers travel at higher speeds than walk. Similarly, high frequency signals have high energy and that can go to long distance. It is easy for us to radiate the signal, high frequency signal, efficiently through the communication system. Now let us see what is the need for modulation. Because of the number of advantages, modulation is necessary for transmission of the signals for long distance applications. There are number of parameters. Why do we go for modulation? Number one, reduces the height of the antenna. Without modulation, we require so much of antenna heights, which is not practically possible. In order to reduce the height of the antenna, the message signal is modulated by means of a carrier. We will discuss in detail about each and every point here. The second one is avoids mixing of signals, different voice signals, different low frequency signals. Without modulation, when they are transmitted through the space, they can mix up in the channel. So in order to separate these signals, we have to go for modulation process. The third use of the modulation is increases the range of communication. The main purpose of a communication system is to transmit the message signal from source to destination. Source and destination are separated by long distance. And therefore, in order to transmit the messages to long distance, in order to increase the range of communication, modulation is the most important concept for transmission of the signals. Allows multiplexing of signals. Many signals, many independent messages, they can be transmitted through a common communication medium with the help of a modulation process. If there is no modulation, the mixing of signals cannot be possible, and therefore modulation is used to separate the signals, and then those separation of the signals are used to combine or multiplex and can be transmitted to long distance through a common communication medium. The next use of modulation is allows adjustment of bandwidth. So we can increase or decrease the bandwidth in order to increase signal to noise ratio. So we need to provide better signal to noise ratio. Signal to noise ratio is defined as the ratio of signal power to noise power. It should be high. In order to increase signal to noise ratio, we have adjustment of bandwidth in some of the modulation schemes. So in order to provide better reception at the receiving end, we can do adjustment of bandwidth with signal to noise ratio. So therefore modulation provides us the adjustment of bandwidth for exchange of signal to noise ratio. It improves the quality of reception. Reception at the receiving end, the quality of the signal should be very good such that the reproduction of the original signal can be done in a proper manner at the receiving end. So with the proper use of modulation techniques, it is possible for us to improve the quality of reception. We can improve the transmission requirement. We can get good quality received signal at the distant end, and therefore reproduction becomes very easy if we go for modulation process. Let us discuss in detail about each and every advantage of modulation. The first one is reduce the height of the antenna. So if you make use of modulation, we can reduce the height of the antenna. So if we take water wave dipole, the length of the antenna is lambda by 4. Therefore, antenna, if you use a quarter wave dipole, the height is equal to lambda by 4, where lambda is called wavelength. Lambda in turn depends upon the frequency given by the formula lambda equal to c by f, where c is velocity of light and f is called frequency. See, there is an inverse relation between lambda and frequency. As frequency increases, the value of lambda decreases. When lambda decreases, the height of the antenna also decreases. And therefore, if you make use of high frequency carrier signal, the value of lambda decreases and we can provide minimum height of the antenna, which is practically possible. For example, if we take a message signal 15 kilohertz as it is without modulation, 15 kilohertz is the original baseband signal. We have audio frequencies from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So let us take the original message signal 15 kilohertz. So we have not gone for modulation, and let us see the height of the antenna. Height of the antenna is equal to lambda by 4, where lambda is equal to c by f, and substitute here. C is velocity of light, 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. Here frequency of the signal is 15 kilohertz, and therefore 15 into 10 cube, and we get 5000 meters, which is equal to 5 kilometers. This height of the antenna is unthinkable. That means it is not practically possible to erect an antenna at a height of 5 kilometers from the ground level. If there is no modulation, we require very large size antennas. In case of 15 kilohertz original baseband signal, we require an antenna of size 5 kilometers, which is not practically possible. Hence, we go for modulation, take the help of the carrier. The carrier is at 1 megahertz, and we place this 15 kilohertz original message signal onto carrier of frequency 1 megahertz. Then the height of the antenna becomes f equal to 1 megahertz, 1 into 10 power 6. If we substitute here, then we get the value equal to 75 meters. 75 meters is practically possible. The height of the antenna, which is at a height of 75 meters, is practically possible, and therefore modulation is very important concept to transmit the original low frequency message signals. If we go for still higher frequencies, for example 10 megahertz, in that case we get an antenna of height equal to 7.5 meters. As the frequency increases, the value of lambda decreases. When the value of lambda decreases, the height of the antenna also decreases. That is why modulation is very important concept in transmission of the signals. The second one is avoids mixing of signals. Let us see one signal, signal 1, which is from 0 to 20 kilohertz. Another signal, it is a message signal, which is also 0 to 20 kilohertz, for example, audio range. Signal 3, 0 to 20 kilohertz. Without modulation, if we transmit signal 1, signal 2, and signal 3, they will be mixed up in the channel. The reason is all the frequencies are from 0 to 20 kilohertz. There will be an interference in the channel. Instead of that, we can make use of three different carriers. For example, let us take 100 kilohertz carrier, and this message signal 1 is modulated by means of 100 kilohertz carrier. We can translate it onto 100 kilohertz. Similarly, let us take the second carrier 200 kilohertz. Signal 2 is placed onto this particular channel 200 kilohertz. Similarly, we take the third carrier, for example, 300 kilohertz. This signal 3 is placed onto 300 kilohertz, and therefore the different signals, signal 1, signal 2, signal 3, are translated onto their respective channel carrier frequencies at 100 kilohertz, at 200 kilohertz, at 300 kilohertz. And therefore there are separation of the messages by means of different carriers. If I transmit these channels through a common communication medium, there is no interference because the messages are separated by means of three different carriers. So avoiding mixing of signals, separation of the channels is possible only with the help of the modulation techniques. The third use of modulation is increases the range of communication. Range means the distance. At low frequencies, radiation is poor. Radiation means transmission of the signal using antenna for wireless communications. So low frequency signal is of low energy, low power level, and therefore efficient radiation is not possible. The signal will get attenuated, and hence modulation is required. So modulation increases the frequency of the signal and thus increases the distance of communication. So long distance communication nowadays is particularly important to provide global communication of the signals from one place to other place, and hence modulation is required. The next important advantage is allows multiplexing of signals. Multiplexing means transmission of two or more signals simultaneously over a common communication medium or over a channel without any interference. For example, number of voice signals through telephone exchange, or number of television signals through one cable wire, one coaxial cable wire. Cable operator is transmitting the signals through only one cable, coaxial cable. It is possible only with the help of the multiplexing of many television signals, which is possible only with the help of the modulation techniques. Many messages are modulated by means of different carriers, and they can be mixed up in the multiplexing equipment, and they can be simultaneously transmitted through a common communication medium, and therefore there is no interference between the channels. And therefore modulation permits the type of multiplexing. For example, TV channels operating simultaneously. Many TV channels through one wire. Similarly, many radio stations broadcasting simultaneously, and they will be available in the A channel, and based on the channel requirement, we are tuning that particular channel, and we are able to capable of receiving that particular channel. And therefore, with the help of the modulation technique, we can allow multiplexing of many signals. The next one is allows adjustment in the bandwidth. In order to increase signal to noise ratio, the bandwidth is to be adjusted. So signal to noise ratio, which is a function of bandwidth, can be improved by controlling bandwidth at the modulated signal. So we can increase when the channel is of more noise, then SNR is decreased, and hence to increase SNR, we can adjust the bandwidth of the signal, which is possible in case of frequency modulation, which we will discuss in detail about this parameter in our future classes. It improves the quality of reception. The quality is a very important concept. The signal to be transmitted and to be received at the distant end without the same comparable quality. And in order to improve the quality of the reception, we can make use of some modulation schemes such as frequency modulation, FM, and pulse code modulation, digital modulation scheme to reduce the effect of noise to a greater extent. So reduction of noise improves quality of reception. So modulation permits us to reduce the noise, improves the signal to noise ratio at the distant end. Now, let us see the various types of modulation. There are basically two types of modulation schemes, namely continuous wave modulation and pulse modulation. And continuous wave modulation, they are categorized into amplitude modulation and angle modulation. Angle modulation is further divided into frequency modulation and phase modulation. Similarly, pulse modulation, we have two categories, pulse analog and pulse digital modulation. In pulse analog modulation, we have pulse amplitude modulation, pulse duration modulation, and pulse position modulation. In pulse digital modulation, we have pulse code modulation, differential pulse code modulation, and delta modulation schemes. So these are the various types of modulation schemes. Depending upon the distance between transmitter and receiver, we can use a different types of modulation schemes. In continuous wave modulation, the carrier is a continuous wave signal, whereas in pulse modulation, the carrier is a periodic rectangular pulse. That is a basic difference. All right. In amplitude modulation, the amplitude of the carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the message. Whereas in angle modulation, the angle of the carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of message signal. There are two parameters in the angle, frequency and phase. If we vary the frequency of the carrier signal in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal, we get frequency modulation. Similarly, phase modulation, the phase of the carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. The basic reference is amplitude of the message signal. Either we can vary the amplitude of the carrier, or we can vary the frequency of the carrier, or we can vary the phase of the carrier. At a time, you need to vary only one parameter and keeping the remaining parameters constant. For example, in amplitude modulation, we are varying the amplitude of the carrier in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal, keeping the frequency and phase of the carrier constant. Similarly, in frequency modulation, we can change the frequency of the carrier. That means when message amplitude is increasing, we need to increase the frequency of the carrier. When message amplitude is decreasing, we need to decrease the frequency of the carrier. Similarly, the phase modulation also. What is phase modulation? When message amplitude is increasing, phase of the carrier to be increased. When message amplitude is decreasing, the phase of the carrier to be decreased. So phase modulation is the angle modulation technique where phase of the carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of message signal. So all these types of modulations, we use the carrier, which is a continuous wave. But what is a continuous wave? It is a sine wave carrier or cosine carrier, a high frequency continuous wave carrier. Whereas in pulse modulation scheme, we have regularly spaced rectangular pulses used as a carrier. Pulse train is used as a carrier. Pulse also having amplitude, having duration, having position. And therefore, we have different parameters that we can vary for pulse also, pulse carrier also. So it is categorized into pulse analog modulation, pulse digital modulation. If we take pulse analog modulation, we have pulse amplitude modulation, pulse duration modulation, and pulse position modulation. What is pulse amplitude modulation? It is nothing but the process of varying the amplitude of carrier pulses in accordance with the amplitude of message signal. Same as that of AM. Here carrier is a continuous wave signal. The amplitude of the carrier, continuous wave carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal in amplitude modulation. Whereas in PAM, the amplitude of the pulses, regularly spaced rectangular carrier pulses are varied in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal, keeping the duration and position of the pulses constant. Similarly, in pulse duration modulation, the duration or width of the pulses, width of the carrier pulses are to be changed in accordance with the amplitude of message signal. Similarly, the position of the pulses are to be varied in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal in pulse position modulation. Whereas in pulse digital, all these modulation schemes are analog only. Whereas in pulse digital modulation, it is a digital modulation technique. We make use of this digital modulation techniques for digital communication in order to provide high signal to noise ratio. So PCM is a pulse code modulation. So we are converting analog signal, analog message signal into the digits ones and zeros using PCM. We will discuss in detail about the digital modulation techniques in pulse code modulation. So let us summarize what are the types of modulation. Modulation is categorized into continuous wave modulation and pulse modulation. In continuous wave modulation, we have amplitude modulation, angle modulation. Angle modulation is classified into frequency modulation, phase modulation. Pulse modulation are categorized as pulse analog modulation, pulse digital modulation. Pulse analog modulation are further divided into PAM, PDM, and PPM. Pulse digital modulation techniques are pulse code modulation, PCM, differential pulse code modulation, DPCM, delta modulation, DM, and adaptive delta modulation, ADM. So modulation process is broadly divided into continuous wave modulation and pulse modulation. In continuous wave CW modulation, sinusoidal wave is used as carrier. So let us take the carrier VC equal to VC into sine omega CT, where VC is the voltage of the carrier or amplitude of the carrier. This is the instantaneous amplitude and this is the amplitude of the carrier. Omega C is the angular frequency of the carrier. Omega is 2 pi f. So omega C is 2 pi f C. So we can vary amplitude of the carrier or we can vary frequency of the carrier, and we also have the phase of the carrier in this. When the amplitude of the carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the baseband signal, we call it as amplitude modulation. When the angle of the carrier is varied, then we get angle modulation scheme. The angle modulation is further subdivided into frequency modulation FM and phase modulation PM, in which instantaneous frequency is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the baseband signal in frequency modulation. The phase is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the baseband signal in phase modulation. In pulse modulation, we have the carrier consisting of periodic sequence of rectangular pulses. As I already told you, the periodic regularly spaced rectangular pulses are used as a carrier. The pulse modulation is subdivided into pulse analog and pulse digital. In pulse analog modulation, we have PAM, pulse amplitude modulation, pulse duration modulation, pulse position modulation. Either you can vary the amplitude or duration or position of the pulses in accordance with the amplitude of the original baseband signal. We can get pulse amplitude modulation, pulse duration modulation, or pulse position modulation. When we are varying the amplitude of the pulses, keep the duration and position constant. Similarly, when we are varying the width of the pulses or duration of the pulses, keep the amplitude and position of the pulses constant. Similarly, in PPM, we are varying the position of the pulses in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal, keeping the amplitude and duration of the pulses constant. Now let us see the applications of AM and FM. So AM is most widely used for radio broadcasting, radio channels, Hyderabad A station, Hyderabad B station, Vijayawada station, etc. In olden days, we have AM radio broadcasting stations. Nowadays also we are making use of AM radio stations for receiving the radio television programs broadcasted by different radio television, different radio broadcasting applications. Similarly, in television transmission, frequency modulation is most widely used. Similarly, FM radio channels are also available. Nowadays, we have FM radio channels that can be received through radio receiver, or FM radio channels can be received through our mobile phone. And let us see the graphical representation of these waves. This is the carrier. Sinusoidal wave is used as a carrier. See, the cycles are very close. The duration time period is small, so it is a high frequency signal. Carrier is a high frequency signal. The duration time period is low, and hence the frequency is high. And this is our original message signal, our voice. Any form of the message signal is a low frequency. Duration is more, and hence frequency is low. This low frequency signal cannot be transmitted to long distance, and therefore this signal is processed by making use of this high frequency carrier signal. Due to the processing, we get a amplitude modulated wave or frequency modulated wave. So if I take amplitude modulated signal, see here, this is the carrier. Initially, it is an unmodulated carrier. Unmodulated carrier means the amplitude of the carrier pulses are same before modulation. Frequency is same, phase is also same. Amplitude of the message signal is increasing here, from here to here, amplitude is decreasing. What is amplitude modulation? We are supposed to vary the amplitude of these carrier pulse, amplitude of these carrier cycles in accordance with the amplitude of message signal. Observe here, the amplitude of the message signal is increasing, and therefore carrier amplitude is to be increased. From here to here, the amplitude of the message signal is decreasing, and therefore these carrier amplitudes to be decreased. Amplitude of the carrier is decreasing. It is minimum at this low value of the message signal. Here amplitude of the carrier message signal is high, so we get amplitude of the carrier high. So we are changing the amplitude of these carrier cycles in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. As the amplitude of the message signal is increasing, increase the amplitude of the carrier. Here message amplitude is decreasing, decrease the amplitude of the carrier, and we get amplitude of the modulated signal. This signal we call it as AM modulated signal. AM modulated signal will have maximum magnitude where the amplitude of the message signal is high, and minimum magnitude where the amplitude of the message signal is low. Similarly, as for the variations in the amplitude of the original message signal, and there are variations in the amplitude of the carrier signal. That means Here a low frequency message signal is placed onto varying amplitude of the carrier. Where the message signal is placed, where the message signal is impressed, the message signal is impressed upon varying amplitude of the carrier. See, there are variations in the amplitude of the carrier. Message is there on the envelope, on the top portion of the varying amplitudes of the carrier. This is called amplitude modulation. This low frequency signal is processed by means of high frequency carrier, and we get this processed signal called as an amplitude modulated signal. This signal we are transmitting through the antenna, and the signal is radiated into space. Antenna converting this modulated signal into electromagnetic wave, and those electromagnetic signals can be further propagated into the space, and we pick up those electromagnetic waves, and then at the receiving end we have receiving antenna. Receiving antenna converts electromagnetic waves further back into the modulated signal. This modulated signal is received at the receiving end, and we remove the noise, we suppress some amount of noise, and then from this received modulated signal we are recovering the original baseband signal which is there on the envelope. So we make use of envelope detector in the receiver to get back the original low frequency signal from the received AM modulated signal. Okay, next. In frequency modulation, we are changing the frequency of the carrier. Say, observe here in amplitude modulation, we are changing only amplitude of the carrier. We are keeping the time duration, frequency, and phase constant. We are not changing the frequency and phase of the carrier. Okay, only amplitude of the signal is varying. In frequency modulation, the frequency of the carrier is changed according with the amplitude of the message signal. Here amplitude of the message signal is high, so we are increasing the frequency of the carrier. Frequency increasing means the duration of the cycles is becoming small. Duration is small. Frequency equal to 1 by t, f equal to 1 by time period. As time period decreases, frequency increases. So here, from here to here, the amplitude of the message signal is increasing, and therefore we need to increase the frequency of the carrier. Similarly, from here to here, the amplitude of the message signal is decreasing, and therefore the frequency of the carrier is to be decreased. Frequency of the carrier is to be decreased means the duration is to be increased. Duration of the cycles are to be increased. See, amplitude of the carrier signal is constant. Phase is also constant. Phase means starting point is also constant. Amplitude is also constant. Only the time period we are changing. Time period of the cycles we are changing. When time period is changing, the frequency also changes. How the changes are there? According with the amplitude of the message signal. So observe here, the amplitude of the message signal is increasing, the frequency of the carrier to be increased. Amplitude of the message signal is decreasing, the frequency of the carrier is to be decreased. So this FM wave we are generating, where the message signal is placed on the varying frequency of the carrier. Okay. In pulse amplitude modulation, these are the pulse modulation techniques, pulse analog modulation techniques. In pulse analog modulation techniques, we have PAM, pulse duration, pulse position. See, this is the amplitude of the message signal. This is a message signal. As message amplitude is increasing, pulse amplitude is to be increased. Message amplitude is decreasing, pulse amplitude is decreasing. In pulse duration modulation, the duration of the pulses are changing. Amplitude is increasing, duration increasing. Amplitude decreasing, duration of the pulses decreases. Only one parameter of the regularly spaced rectangular carrier, regularly spaced rectangular carrier pulses. What is regularly spaced? The spacing between the pulses are uniform. They are rectangular pulses. See, amplitude is changing. Amplitude of the pulses are changing. Here, amplitude of the message signal is increasing. Pulse amplitude is increasing. Here, message amplitude is decreasing. Pulse amplitude is decreasing. In case of PAM. Similarly, duration of the pulses. In pulse duration modulation, duration of the pulses are to be varied according with the amplitude of the message. Message amplitude is increasing, the duration increasing. Message amplitude is decreasing from here to here, the duration of the carrier pulses are to be decreased. So we are providing directly proportional varying durations of the carrier pulses according with the amplitude of the message. Similarly, position of the carrier pulses are changed. Position, these are the original positions. Position of the carrier pulses are changed according with the amplitude of the message signal in pulse position modulation. So with this background, now we'll define about the bandwidth. So what is the bandwidth? The bandwidth is the difference between upper and lower frequencies. Message signal is not a single frequency, and we have range of frequencies present when we are speaking through microphone. We have band of frequencies varying from 300 Hz to 3.4 kHz. That means it is a range of frequency. When there is a range of frequency, we have bandwidth of that particular signal. And therefore, bandwidth is the difference between upper and lower frequencies. It is a range of frequencies which can pass through an electronic system or a channel with little amount of attenuation. For example, in medium wave frequency, we have upper side frequency is 300 kHz and lower sideband frequency is 30 kHz. So medium wave frequency range occupies from 30 kHz to 300 kHz. 30 kHz is the lower side frequency and 300 kHz is the upper side frequency. Let us call this lower side as F1 and upper side as F2. The range of frequencies is called bandwidth. So what is bandwidth? It is nothing but F2 minus F1. Upper side frequency minus lower side frequency. And therefore the bandwidth of this particular range of medium wave frequency band is 270 kHz, which occupies from 30 kHz to 300 kHz. So what is a bandwidth? It is nothing but the range of frequencies, or it is the difference between upper and lower frequencies, upper end and lower end frequencies present on a particular band of frequencies. Now, what is a channel bandwidth and what is a baseband bandwidth? Baseband bandwidth is a original message signal band. When the modulation is done, that original baseband signal occupying the channel bandwidth. There is a lot of difference between baseband bandwidth and channel bandwidth. Baseband bandwidth is the bandwidth occupied by the original message signal. When the modulation is done, that original message signal occupying the channel bandwidth, then the range of frequencies on that particular channel, we call it as a channel bandwidth. So when baseband signal is modulated onto a carrier, the resulting signal occupies a small portion of the spectrum surrounded by the carrier. And therefore, channel bandwidth we can define. When a carrier is amplitude modulated by a baseband signal, that is a message signal or modulating signal, two other signals known as upper sideband and lower sideband, we are getting surrounded by the carrier. We will discuss in detail. Here we are only defining the channel bandwidth. So we will get lower sideband and upper sideband when a message is modulated by using a carrier in case of amplitude modulation. So let me take a carrier frequency of 1000 kHz and the message signal frequency of 10 kHz. We will be getting upper sideband. Upper sideband is nothing but carrier frequency plus message signal frequency, that is 1000 kHz plus 10 kHz, that is 1010 kHz. And the lower sideband frequency is carrier frequency minus the message signal frequency. So we will be getting 990 kHz. So what are the frequencies present in the A modulated signal? It varies from 990 kHz to 1010 kHz. This modulating signal is of frequency 10 kHz. When it is modulated by using a carrier, This message signal is occupying the range of frequencies from lower sideband to upper sideband. That means 990 kilohertz to 1010 kilohertz. Now we will be getting the bandwidth now. What is the bandwidth in this case? The range from upper to lower. The difference between upper sideband and the lower sideband. 1010 minus 990, which is equal to 20 kilohertz. What is the original message signal? It is 10 kilohertz. The baseband bandwidth is 10 kilohertz only. The bandwidth occupied by original baseband signal is 10 kilohertz only. When it is modulated by using amplitude modulation, we are getting upper sideband and we are also getting the lower sideband. Upper sideband is nothing but carrier frequency plus message signal frequency, and lower sideband is nothing but carrier frequency minus message signal frequency, and therefore we will be getting the range of frequencies from 990 kilohertz to 1010 kilohertz, and therefore 1010 kilohertz minus 990 kilohertz is equal to 20 kilohertz. This 20 kilohertz is called channel bandwidth, whereas the baseband bandwidth is 10 kilohertz. Channel bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, 20 kilohertz, whereas baseband bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, which is twice that of modulating signal frequency. And therefore, for amplitude modulation, we have channel bandwidth equal to 2 times the highest modulating signal frequency present in the message signal. For example, if the message signal is having frequency 10 kilohertz, we are getting the channel bandwidth as 2 times 10 kilohertz, 20 kilohertz, because we have upper sideband and the lower sideband, and that message is occupying on upper sideband and lower sideband, then the message baseband bandwidth is converted into channel bandwidth. So in case of AM, the channel bandwidth is equal to 2 times the highest signal frequency present in the message. And there is a relation between the channel bandwidth and transmission time. This is a communication system. Its function is to send the information. It requires certain bandwidth. Bandwidth depends on 2 factors: the quantity of information, how much information we would like to transmit, and how much time you are able to transmit. So in order to have bandwidth, time, and quantity of information relation, we have the formula. Suppose we have a water tank, it is water. This is water pipe, large diameter, so we get more water. Similarly, channel, when the channel bandwidth is more, we can transmit the information, more information through the channel. It is analogous to the water tank and pipe. Water flowing through a small diameter, the channel bandwidth is small here, so we can get the water slowly. Similarly, when the channel bandwidth is small, the information transmission is also low. So in order to transmit more information through the channel, we require more bandwidth. Less information through the channel, we require less bandwidth. There is a law called Hartley law. It provides the relation between channel bandwidth and baseband bandwidth, information capacity, transmission time. It states that the amount of information that can be transmitted in a given time is proportional to bandwidth for a given modulation scheme. So the Hartley law says that the amount of information is proportional to bandwidth. That means the bandwidth is more, we can transmit more amount of information. And if bandwidth is less, we can transmit less amount of information. So it is given by the formula I equal to KTB, where I is called amount of information to be sent. K is a constant, Boltzmann constant, for example. 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joules per Kelvin. T is the time available and B is the channel bandwidth. So by using this formula, Hartley law, means the amount of information to be sent is directly proportional to time available. If we allow more time, we can transmit more amount of information. If we provide more channel bandwidth, we can transmit more amount of information. So let us summarize what we have discussed now. In this video, we have discussed about modulation, why modulation is necessary in communication system. We have then discussed the concept of bandwidth, baseband bandwidth, channel bandwidth. We also given the relation between channel bandwidth and baseband bandwidth. And we also give the relation between channel bandwidth and transmission time by making use of Hartley law. And let us solve some quiz questions. What is velocity of light? Is it equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second? Why low frequency signals cannot travel long distance? Because of low energy. What is the need for a carrier? To transmit signals over long distance, we require the carrier. What is the formula for wavelength? Wavelength lambda equal to C by F. As frequency increases, the value of lambda decreases. The bandwidth of the high frequency signal is 27 megahertz. The channel bandwidth is 2 times the baseband bandwidth. The bandwidth of TV signal is, so each TV signal requires a bandwidth of 7 megahertz. Modulation are broadly classified into 2 types. One is a continuous wave, the second one is pulse modulation. Television transmission we use for sound, we use FM modulation, and for picture we use amplitude modulation, that too vestigial sideband modulation, which is one of the variation schemes of AM. We will discuss in future classes. AM modulation is widely used in radio broadcasting. These are the questions you are supposed to answer. Define modulation, classify types of modulation, state the need for modulation, what are the applications of amplitude modulation and frequency modulation, define baseband bandwidth, channel bandwidth,